Hello students, today I am going to discuss with you dividend theories. First of all, we will discuss what is dividend. As we all know that dividend, it refers to that part of the profits of a company which is distributed by the company among its shareholders. So it is that part of the surplus, or we can say the profits of the company, which is distributed to its shareholders in return of the investment which they have made in the company. So dividend is a major financial decision. Financial decision means that a company has to take many type of financial decisions. Out of all these decisions, one of the most important decision is the financial decision. So financial decision is regarding where to invest, where to use the finance. So one of the decision of a firm or company can be to pay its profits in the form of a dividend. So dividend can be one of the major financial decision. So dividend decision, how it affects a company, that dividend decision decides the proportion to be paid to the equity shareholders, and the remaining portion of net earnings are retained in the firm. So dividend decision is a decision through which we can decide how much portion, how much ratio of the earnings of the company will be paid to the equity shareholders in the form of dividend, and how much will be retained in the firm so as to invest it further for the benefit of the firm. There are many type of dividend theories. First is the relevance theory. Relevance theory means this is a school of thought that goes in favor of the dividend decision. According to this theory, dividend decision is having a considerable effect on the value of the firm. It means it has a major impact on the value of the firm. It affects the value of the firm. Maron Gordon, John Linter, James Walter Richardson, they promoted this theory. According to this theory, the dividend communicates to the investor about the firm's profitability. It means if a company is paying dividend to its shareholders, its investors, it shows that company is having a good profitability. That's why a company is paying dividend. So a firm which is paying higher dividend, they will have obviously a greater value than the company which is paying no dividend, or we can say a low, which are having a low dividend payout ratio. Second school of thought says that the dividend decision or dividend policy is not having any impact on the value of the firm, so it is a irrelevance theory. This theory says that dividend is not having any impact on the wealth of the shareholders. As we all know, the major objective or goal of the financial management is to increase the wealth of its shareholders, and wealth of the shareholder increases with the increase in the share prices. And this theory says that this dividend decision is not having any impact on the wealth or the prices of the shares, and hence it is irrelevant if we in considering it in the valuation of the firm. According to them, dividend decision, it is a part of financing decision, as a company has to take a decision whether to pay dividend in the form, pay surplus to the shareholders or return to the shareholders in the form of dividend, or whether to reinvest it in the company. According to it, the dividend decision is a part of financial decision, as earnings available may be retained in the business for the reinvestment. But if the funds are not required in the business, if you don't see any opportunity in the near future where you can invest, then it is better to distribute it in the form of a dividend. So it consider dividend as a residual decision. As a residual means if you are not having any opportunity, then pay this to the shareholders so that you can keep them satisfied. So it further says that the investor, they do not differentiate between the dividends and retention by the firm. According to this, the investors, they are not differentiating whether the company is paying them dividend or whether it is retaining. If the company is having good investment opportunities, then company, according to them, the company should invest so that they can company can get higher and higher return from that investment, that will ultimately give benefit to the shareholders. So they only desire to have a higher returns. If a company is having a good opportunity, company should invest more, but if the company is not having opportunity, then company will pay them dividend. So this is the chart showing the dividend theories. there are two, as we have discussed, there are two type of theories, relevance and irrelevance theories. Relevance theory, it consider dividend decision to be relevant as it affects the value of the firm. And under this, there are two models which have been suggested under the relevance theory. First is the Walters model and second is the Gordon's model. Second school of thought is irrelevance theories, which consider dividend decision to be irrelevant and according to them it doesn't affect the value of the firm. Under this, we have two type of models. First is the Modigliani and Miller model, which is also known as a model, and second is the traditional approach. Here in this presentation, I am going to discuss with you one of the relevance theory, that is a Walters model. This model was given by the Professor James E. Walter. According to him, the choice of the dividend policy affects the value of the enterprise. It means the dividend decision is having an impact on the value of the firm. His model shows clearly the importance of relationship between the firm's rate of return, that is R, and its cost of capital, that is K, in determining the dividend policy maximize so as to achieve the goal of wealth maximization of the shareholders. Here in this theory, they have discussed the relationship between two main aspects. That first is the rate of return and second is the cost of capital. Rate of return means the return which a company can get after making investment, making investment in any kind of project, and the return which they are getting, it is R, that is rate of return. It is also known as internal rate of return. Second is the cost of capital. Cost of capital means the cost which you have to pay for raising a capital. It means this is the required rate of return. It is also known as a minimum rate of return. As we have discussed many times, this is the minimum rate of return that a company should get so as to cover its cost. So according to them, we have to study the relationship between R, and that is the rate of return, and K, that is the cost of capital. Now according to this theory, if R is greater than K, it means if the firm is earning higher rate of return on its investment than the required rate of return. Here required rate of return is K and rate of return or internal rate of return is R. So if the return which you are getting out of your investment is more than your cost of capital, it means you are having more return over and above the required rate of return. So in this case, the dividend payout ratio would be 0, because you need not to pay dividend to your shareholders. You will invest more because you are getting more return out of your investment. Second is when R is less than K. Here your rate of return is less than the required rate of return. What rate of return you are required, your actual return is less than that, then it is better that you should pay dividend to your shareholders rather than investing further. So here in this type of firms, the dividend payout ratio will be 100%. Third is a case when the rate of return, actual rate of return, and the required rate of return, both these are equal. This shows that dividend policy, it will not affect the market value of the firm. So market value of the firm will not change with the change in the dividend rate. It means dividend is not affecting your firms, as you are getting the same rate of return, which is the return with the rate that is required. So this model is based on different assumptions. First is, this model assumes that the firm finances all investment through the retained earnings. There is debt or debt or new equity is not issued. Company is not depending upon the external financing. Company is totally using its retained earnings. Retained earnings means the earnings which they have retained, which they have the reserve which they have made over the period of time, that is used for their financing in any kind of investment. They are not using the external financing. Second is the firm's internal rate of return, that is R, and cost of capital, that is K, is constant. Third is all the earnings are either distributed as dividend or reinvested internally immediately. So there are only two alternatives which they are assuming, that either a company can pay a dividend or they can reinvest internally, means within a company. Next is earnings and dividends do not change while determining the value. Your earnings, they will remain constant and dividend will not change. The firm has a very long or an infinite life. The firm will go on for an indefinite period. Now here is the formula to determine the market price per share. We are to see, we have to calculate what what will be the market price of the firm. Here this formula is D divided by KE, that is the dividend per share divided by cost of equity plus R over cost of capital multiplied with earning per share minus the dividend per share divided by cost of equity. So here first part is the dividend, the present value of the dividend which you are getting, and second part is the remaining stream of earnings which you are getting out of your investment. So here by adding both these aspects we will get the market price of the share. Here with this formula we can see that whether the dividend the rate of dividend or whether the rate of return is having an impact on the market price of the share or not. This model has been criticized on many aspects. It is basically criticized on the basis of assumptions which they have taken in this model. This model assumes that the investment opportunities of the firm are financed by retained earnings only, and there is no external financing as we have discussed. But it is not true in the real world situation. The firm, they do depend upon raising funds from the external financing. They can't do without raising funds from the external sources. Next is here they have assumed that the internal rate of return, that is R, it remains constant, but in real terms we can say that the internal rate of return, it does not remain constant. In fact, with the increase in the investment, the rate of return also increases. It totally depends upon your investment, so it doesn't remain constant. Next is a firm's cost of capital. Here they have also assumed that the cost of capital, that is K, it also remains constant, but it does change. It changes with the firm's risk. As your risk increases, it also increases. Your cost of capital also increases. If your risk increases, the cost of capital also increases. So this model has been criticized on the basis of all these aspects. Next, the further theories or models I will discuss you with in the next presentation. Thank you.